January 2nd, 2016, at Pyongyang International Airport, just moments before leaving North Korea, a 21-year-old student from the University of Virginia, Otto Warmbier, was suddenly arrested. The accusation was shocking. Authorities claimed he had stolen a political propaganda poster from a restricted staff-only area inside the Yanggakdo International Hotel on March 16, 2016. North Korea's Supreme Court held a trial that lasted less than an hour. At the end of that brief hearing, Otto Warmbier was convicted of hostile acts against the state and sentenced to 15 years of hard labor. Months later, after intense international pressure and desperate pleas from his family, Otto was finally sent back to the United States. But he didn't return the same. He came back in a coma. On June 19, 2017, the young student died. If something like this could happen to an American tourist, what might life look like for the ordinary citizens living inside that country? In North Korea, a child is born. But from the very first moment of life, that child's world is different. Because the state's propaganda machine immediately begins shaping them into something more than human, a symbol. And from that moment begins one of the most extraordinary and disturbing stories of the modern world. A country where the line between law and madness can be almost impossible to see. A place where people can be sent to prison camps not only for crimes they commit, but for crimes they are suspected of thinking about. A place where love, rebellion, even personal identity can be controlled by the command of a single man. How does one individual become the fate of millions? The system we see today did not appear overnight. Its roots were planted decades ago. To understand it, we have to go back in time. For 35 years, the entire Korean peninsula was ruled by Japan. When World War II ended, the peninsula was divided in two. In the north, a new country emerged, North Korea. In the south, South Korea was formed. The northern half fell under the influence of the Soviet Union. The southern half aligned with the United States. It was during this moment of division that Kim Il-sung rose to power in the north. And with him began something unprecedented. A dynasty, a dictatorship, and a legacy of fear. After Kim Il-sung came his son, Kim Jong Un. And today, the country is ruled by his son, Kim Jong Un, inside North Korea. Democracy as the world knows it simply does not exist. There is only one leader and his rule, to maintain control. The state created a suffocating system of strict laws designed to prevent citizens from embracing South Korean or Western culture. Even something as simple as wearing sunglasses at a wedding or choosing your own fashion style can be considered suspicious. In North Korea, personal choice itself can become a crime. In metro stations, you don't hear music. Instead, loudspeakers broadcast speeches from the Kim family. During those speeches, smiling is forbidden. Talking is forbidden. If someone is caught watching a South Korean drama or a Hollywood movie, they can be sent to a labor camp. Ordinary citizens have no access to the global internet. Instead, they use a tightly controlled internal network, where the government monitors everything they read and watch. Contact with the outside world requires government approval. Radio stations, television channels, newspapers, every form of media is controlled by the state. Independent journalism is almost unimaginable. Every broadcast praises the Kim dynasty, and every broadcast condemns foreign enemies, especially the United States. From childhood, citizens are taught to hate America and its allies. But it doesn't stop there. Even hairstyles are controlled by the government. Citizens can only choose from a short list of approved haircuts. Anything outside that list can lead to punishment. wearing jeans, dyeing your hair, or dressing in flashy clothing can also be considered a violation. Those clothes may be confiscated, and punishment often follows. Food choices can also be restricted. Certain foreign foods, including items associated with Western or South Korean culture, have been banned at times. Travel inside the country is tightly controlled. To move from one city to another, citizens must receive government permission. Without it, the journey is illegal. Passports are granted only to people close to the government. For ordinary citizens, leaving the country is almost unimaginable. In North Korea, land, houses, and businesses all belong to the state. No one truly owns property. Citizens can only use what the government allows them to use. Now, we come to one of the most disturbing parts of the system. Religion is effectively banned. Practicing any faith can be treated as a criminal act. A few churches exist, but many observers believe they are largely for show. If someone is caught secretly praying, they may be sent to a labor camp. And if someone dares to criticize the government or the Kim family, the punishment does not stop with that individual. Their entire family can be imprisoned. Sometimes even 3 generations can be punished. Every citizen lives inside a vast web of surveillance. Government informants often appear as ordinary neighbors. They watch who says what, who does what, even what someone might be thinking. Punishment here is not only for actions. It can also be for thoughts. If someone is suspected of thinking the wrong idea, or if a neighbor reports them, their future can disappear overnight. Every week, citizens must attend something called self-criticism sessions. During these meetings, people publicly confess their mistakes. One man reportedly admitted, "I forgot to praise Kim Jong Un this week." For that alone, the entire group criticized him. Voting in North Korea is mandatory. But there is only one candidate. One name, one leader. Refusing to vote for that candidate would mark someone as a traitor. In reality, elections are not about choosing leaders. They are loyalty tests designed by the state. When turnout reaches nearly 100%, the government interprets it as proof of strength. Foreign media often highlight these numbers. For example, a 2009 headline from the New York Times read, "Kim wins re-election with 99.9% of the vote." Near the end of the article, it mentioned that 0.02% of voters were absent. State media explained they were working abroad or at sea. Even Kim himself seems to understand the power of political spectacle. In November 2023, North Korea held local elections for provincial, city, and county assemblies. Something unusual happened. A tiny percentage of votes were cast against certain candidates. 0.099% against provincial candidates. 0.13% against city and county candidates. Did this mean democracy was finally arriving in North Korea? Had Kim allowed citizens the freedom to disagree? Analysts believe the answer is no. Instead, it may have been an attempt to appear democratic to the outside world. Under a new rule, 2 ballot boxes were placed, one for approval and one for rejection. But officials still monitored which box each voter used. North Korea technically has a parliament known as the Supreme People's Assembly. But its role is mostly symbolic. Its main job is to approve decisions already made by Kim Jong Un, and every citizen must memorize something called the 10 Principles. For the establishment of the monolithic ideological system, forgetting even one principle can be treated as an act of disloyalty. Televisions across the country are locked to a single channel, Korean Central Television. Changing channels is illegal. Even imported TVS are modified so people cannot watch foreign broadcasts. And yet, beyond all these rules lies another powerful system. a rigid social hierarchy known as songbun. In this system, a person's status is determined not by their achievements, but by their family history. North Korean society is divided into three classes. The core class, considered loyal to the regime. The wavering class, made up of ordinary workers and farmers. And the hostile class, whose ancestors were seen as enemies of the state. Your entire future, your job, your education, even where you can live can depend on which class you belong to. And this classification is determined at birth, not by merit, not by effort, but by bloodline. That's all for today's video. If you found it interesting, make sure to like, comment, and share. And if this video gets enough support, I'll tell another incredible story next time. The story of a famous South Korean actress who disappeared in broad daylight, kidnapped under the orders of a North Korean dictator. Why was she taken? That story is even more unbelievable. Until then, stay curious, stay informed, and I'll see you in the next video.